Hi, this is Tula May, and Dubscience Films presents to you the Red Couch interview. This is the Red Couch. I am the interviewer, and this morning my first subject is the very lovely and talented. Can I put out your government, or would you prefer not?
Yeah, you can put
Okay. For the first and probably the last time on film, Sybil Jones, but for the purposes of this conversation, Civ Jones. Now, she's known for a whole lot of things around the Baltimore metropolitan area. So if we could kind of start from how things began for you to the present, probably right now, the man about town probably knows you for your radio work.
Yeah.
So, but a lot has happened before that.
Yeah.
So let's kind of start from the beginning.
I've been putting in work for like the last 12, 13 years.
Wow. Okay.
Like seriously, consistent work I've been putting in. You know,
Right.
like from starting off, I mean, I did street team work. I did street team work, flyers, you know, passing.
Putting up the
boards,
signs and
putting
running
up
away.
signs. I'm serious, putting up signs on abandoned buildings, putting up signs up poles. Like, I learned how to do that early on in
You
my
with the
career.
staple gun and just...
Yes,
wow.
I did that joint. In the cold, in the rain,
Wow.
did it,
Okay.
you know? I did that. And then, my love has always been to be in radio and to do radio. But as I was coming up, I was told no by like three to four program directors.
Oh, wow.
Told me no. I was like, damn it. So I had to work. So I had to get my name, establish my name outside of what I did. I mean, the radio. So that's when I started. The first show, I believe, was Even a Man Can Do This, because I came into the Baltimore scene by doing the documentary.
Right.
And the first documentary was Even a Man Can Do This. I wanted to videotape female rappers. And
I know a lot of people probably remember Even a Man Can Do This. I do remember it was a little bit controversial.
Really? What?
At the time. I do remember people were kind of like just female hip hop. I think the idea was that there weren't enough of them to warrant a documentary. Like, there's only two of them, so.
And I did it.
Yeah.
You know, I went and searched these females. I started off as a rapper.
Okay.
In the game, you know, I wanted to be a rapper, but I was just not comfortable on the microphone rapping. That wasn't my comfortability. I did a couple of shows and I was just like, God, I feel awkward.
Yeah, you can't be a rapper if you're, can't do it.
But my homegirl was killing it. I was like, oh, you know, but I had rhymes, you know, so I was like, whatever. So,
okay, like you have rhymes and like the spirit is there, but
the rest of it couldn't. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna do my first live. I always represent for the female MC.
Okay.
So I wanted to go out and find these women, and I found these women, and I put a show together, and it was like that, and it ushered in a new energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We talk about
Even a Man Can Do This. Very quickly, kind of tell me how the idea came about. How did you find these women, and how did that project end up?
Alright, the first, you know, how and after it, I was going to interview some middle school girls about what they thought about female hip hop MCs. So I went to a high school, and me and this guy, Grasshopper Films, shout out to Grasshopper Films, we recorded this video. And I was looking, I was like, you know, God, I don't really like this. You know, I like it, but I really don't like it. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just go and find some female MCs.
Okay.
And so the second cut came, and that's when me and Emotion hooked up.
Okay.
And shout out to Emotion from Deep Flow Studios. And Emotion was a woman. She had a video camera. I was a woman. I had the ideas. And we would just go to like shows or find these women, set up interviews. I ended up being hip to Ghetto Mommies. You know, they were known as, who were they known as? They had a real hardcore name. The Black Plague or something like that, right? B-Fly. I hooked up. I saw B Fly, and I seen her like she had a guitarist who was a woman, and they were at the UB Blake.
Okay.
Yep. And I was like, yo, you are fly. I'm doing this documentary on women. Like, I gotta videotape you. So we set something up, and me and her started hanging out, bouncing ideas off of each other, and like, like she was a part of, like, starting to Even a Man Can Do This. Like, let's do the showcase. I'm like, word, let's do a showcase.
Once you got into it, how many talented women you came across? Or were you expecting that?
I was expecting that. That was my first time really going local on the Baltimore hip hop scene. I went very local, because I was already at the radio station doing what I was doing.
Right.
And so I started to like tap into Baltimore hip hop scene, and I realized there was like a lot of like dysfunction about the radio. So I'm coming in like, we don't even know who you are. Like, how you mad at the radio station and y'all ain't even putting yourself in the radio? So I came in like that. Introduced into the Baltimore hip hop scene.
Okay.
So from there I was like, let me see what's going on. I was like, let me, do some, see what's going on.
And that kind of led into the documentary.
That led into the documentary.
So how did that all end up with the documentary? Did you finish it?
I finished it.
Okay.
I finished it. It's on. I had 3 shows behind it.
Okay.
I had the first show down at the 5 C's. Down at the Belvedere Hotel in the little basement.
Oh, I remember that place.
And they had this big old stage. That was the first show I had. It was so many people came out. I was so surprised, like how many people came out. It was a lot of people who came out, and all of the chicks like did like great. Okay. And I think it was the first time people saw all these women. So I'm like, put them together, and I went from different crews to different crews, like plucking them. Like, oh, you got roses over here, you daffodils. You know what I'm saying? Right. You jasmines. Oh, I'm picking everybody. Okay. Let me showcase this bouquet of talent I found.
And from that,
how did you get to today? From that, I wanted to do something that always meant something.
And this was hip hop and
This was hip hop and pink.
And still the women thing.
It's all women, right?
So what is hip hop and pink exactly?
Hip hop and pink is my breast cancer awareness showcase. Okay. I had a friend named Affinity and my aunt Stephanie. They all made me do that. Like their energy. I was like, I gotta put this out there because they both died from breast cancer. Okay. And what Affinity said to me, because Affinity was a female rapper, and we did a show together, and we even got into it one time over the air. We was going at it over the air. Like, if she comes in here, like we was going at it, but we were women afterwards, and we just squashed that shit. We was like, we need to sit down and have a conversation, me and you, nobody else, and we did that. And then after that, it was just beautiful. And then she came down with breast cancer. And
black women tend to die of that more so.
She was very young. She had to have been anywhere between in her 20s and her 30s. We were on the phone when she was telling me what happened, and we were talking about, her being diagnosed. And she said to me, you know what? All of these communities that I'm involved in, she was like doing rock. She was doing the internet way before anybody was doing the internet. She was bubbling off the internet, going to North Carolina, having these big shows. Like, she did that thing. She did her thing and had interviews with Russell. So I'm like, who is this chick? And so she said all of the communities I'm involved with, the rock and roll community did a benefit for me. I was like, wow. She was like, hip-hop didn't do anything for me. I done did all this stuff for these people. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the rock and roll community is the only community that did something for me. Okay. I was like, oh. Let that ponder for a minute. Let that ponder. And then my aunt passed, my aunt Stephanie. And it's, breast cancer and everything. And brain, lung cancer. And I was like, oh, I gotta do this show. You know, I gotta do the show. I gotta educate people. And so that's what I did. I put the education behind it. I put the female rappers at one point, and then I started adding the singers,
And that became Hip Hop and Pink.
that became Hip Hop and Pink. And then I didn't do Hip Hop and Pink last year. I didn't do anything last year. I kind of just, chilled last year.
How many
But
Hip Hop
now-
and Pinks did you do?
I did about 3 or 4.
Okay.
This would have been my 4th one, and I didn't do it.
Okay.
I always stop at 3. That's so interesting. And so this is my next venture.
Okay.
So this is my next venture, from niggas to gods.
Okay. And what is when I was reading information about the word that popped out was Afrofuturistic.
Afrofuturism.
So what does that mean?
Afrofuturism is how Black people, African American, whatever, people of melanated skin, see themselves from the past, the present, and the future.
Okay.
It's really forward thinking with keeping a handle on the past, but looking towards the future. So there's all sects of it, right? You got the technology part where people are coming up with these just crazy ideas for technology. You have the painting part, artists creating these beautiful abstract paintings, like the guy who did my Dante, who did my flyer. He's an amazing artist and painter, and other people of those type of kilts, as those talents. You have authors like Octavia Butler.
Right.
Is considered Afrofuturist.
Yeah, I love that.
And I didn't even, and so I was telling my mother this, and she was like, "Who introduced you to Octavia Butler?" I was like, "You did." Like, no doubt you did, Mom.
Right.
My mother had us reading, and she had all these books. So I'm reading Octavia Butler, Wild Seed, and Parable of the Sower, and I'm like, I'm blown away. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sci-fi. It's, fantasy. It's magical. It's technology. It's music. It's the arts. You have people like Sun Ra, George Clinton. I'm a Funkadelic fan. So when I see my homegirl out in Philly, Rashida, she does she's the Afrofuturistic Affair, and she's sponsoring the show. And I went to her show. She had this costume party, and I was like, yo, I want to do this in Baltimore. Let's do this in Baltimore. Okay. And so we were like, yeah. And so I'm pondering, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And
where the title for the
From
show
Niggas to Gods came up. And I remember this book. I read this book when I was like in the 90s, when I was like 14, 13 years old. I'm reading a book called From Niggas to Gods. Okay. So I was off early on this, you know, and just learning this. And I feel that at this point in time, when that movement was coming in, Blacks was learning so much about themselves. You know, it was coming through the music, it was coming through the literature, it was coming through the paintings, it was coming. I felt like I was inspired by Kanye West as well. Kanye West, and especially Kanye West, when he went on that rant and was talking about, not even a rant, just a illuminating session. He was talking about, when I say that I am a God, people want to crucify me, call me all this types of crazy stuff. But when I say that I'm a nigga, it's not a problem. Here's where the Afrofuturism part comes in, because I want you to come dressed as your God self. You know,
what does that mean?
And your God self is basically, how do you see you and how do you see you and God and what God has called you to be? It could be anything you want to do. I had this dream. Like, my God self is based off of this dream I had, where God said, where I was dealing with a lot of fear. And I was going to a next level, but I was scared to go to that next level. And I remember, you know, God showing me who I was. And I was an illuminating being, and I was blue, which is the flyer, right? I gave over this dreams to my homeboy, and I'm like, do this, you know, and
Okay.
do whatever. And he made the character blue. I'm like, word, this is the, you know. So, and it was when God showed me my God self, I became an illuminated being. And, you know, I was able to really, you know, wake up from that dream and know that God had told me something, walk in my God self. Now it's just basic, you know, like it's basic tools, you know, it's how do you see yourself at your most on this earthly experience. You ain't gotta get there right now, but get there, you know. And I'm not trying to tell you how to think. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm just presenting tools.
Okay. So someone coming to this show, what should they expect to see, hear, experience?
Be ready to be inspired.
Okay.
I want to bring a new energy into this community. I want to see some different events. I want to see some fans being entertained. I want to come dressed as your God self. You know what I'm talking about. Your who you are, like that character you made yourself to be. I'm coming as an illuminated being, you know. We got, you know, Black Jesus, who is doing this amazing interactive installment, where she believes the Black woman is God, and she's going to recreate this. We got more Mother Goddess, who does these beats. God, these beats. And she's been knocking out, she got about 10 mixtapes within like 30 days. Like,
wow.
She's sick with it.
Okay.
That's just what she Easy Jackson, Yo Slick, Greenspan, Voice. I got Lotus Song in the Black Light Asylum. And Lotus Song, Carla. That girl can sing!
Yes, you can.
Goodness gracious, that girl can sing.
Let me ask you this in regard to the show. Let's say someone is interested in the show, but they're not entirely sure if they're ready to interact with their God self. And I mean, some of these concepts, for some folks, might sound a little bit heavy on them, even if they're necessary. If they're not quite there yet, what will they get out of this show? Will it still be something they would enjoy?
Oh yes, absolutely. It's going to be a free space. This is a free space to come and, you know, in respect though, you know, respect what's going on, but it's a free space to come and be entertained, educated, entertained, edutainment, as some would like to call it. Definitely. All of my shows have always been edutainment. From the hip hop and pink, when people are like, oh, I don't know about breast cancer, but they came and had a good time. Just learn and have this, didn't do that, but that's what it's going to be. But come with respect of it. That's it. I don't have to throw nobody out off some, you know, crazy stuff, you know. But that music never happens at my shows. What? Because I pray to the Lord God. Don't let me have to throw nobody out.
So when are we coming to be inspired and have balance in Afrofuturism?
Sunday, March 29th at 1400 Warner Street. It's the Art by Cleatrice Studio. So it's above the game day place down there that only opens up the Ravens Party. But it's by the Paradox, and it's on the second floor. 1400 Warner Street in Baltimore, Maryland. Is right across from the Greyhound station. And it's Sunday. The doors open at 7 p.m. The show is going to start at 8 o'clock. Because I'm only going to 12. I ain't got time to be staying out 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. From 7 to 12, I'm going to be entertaining you. So I need you all to be there by 8 o'clock. And then we're going through. We're going to do this show. We're going to have a good time. We're going to party. We're going to laugh. We're going to drink. We're going to look good. Hashtag FNTG. That's the hashtag. F from N niggas, T to gods. FNTG. Hashtag that. And you can find all of that. Also, if you need more information, you can go to civjones.com. I'm going to be putting that up there like today because it's not up, even up there, but I'm going to put it up there. But no, go to sivjones.com. So that's where you can find all the information about this event.
Okay, and if this wasn't enough Civ Jones for you, because it might not have been, you can catch her. This is Monday through Friday, correct?
Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Yes,
on
Monday
the
through
radio
Friday.
on Magic 95.9 from 10 to 3, correct?
From 10 to 3.
And that can get you your daily dose of Civ. And if that is not enough for you,
No.
because I'm sure it won't be. I just feel in my spirit it won't be enough. You can also catch her on WPB Radio
Thursdays.
on Thursdays. And what's the time
7
for that?
to 9.
7 to 9, and that's WPBradio.com.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not near a computer, if you go to the site, they have all kinds of mobile apps. Pretty much any kind of device that you could have, a tablet, a cell phone, whatever, you can find an app and a way to take her with you wherever you're going to be on Thursdays on WPB Radio from 7 to 10. Every day from 10 to 3. She is so busy. I don't see how you can stand it on Magic 95.9. And of course, you're going to make a special trip to check her out on Sunday, March 29th at the event From Niggas to God, 1400 Warner Street. On social media, on Civ Jones, on all social media, you're Civ Jones.
Yeah.
That was very smart of you. People do that on social media. Please always all one thing. That's just my little tip. But Civ Jones on Twitter and on Facebook and all that other stuff. And she's real cool people to talk to. Hit her up if you have questions about the event or want to get advice on what you should wear as your God self, all of that. So please don't be a stranger. This has been the Red Couch interview from Dubscience Films. I'm Tula Caesar, a.k.a. Tula May. That is Civ Jones. And we will be talking to you again real soon. Peace.